Hello and welcome to this lecture on the chakras and their colors. My name is Cyan Pascal. I am the founder of the Light Collective. We're an online yoga school, and if you're interested in content around yogic philosophy, tantric philosophy, practices of yoga that are a little more in depth, then feel free to subscribe to our channel. We do our best to upload as frequently as we can. All of this information is coming from our yoga teacher trainings. So if you're really wanting to kind of dive in a bit deeper, then I encourage you to head to our website, check out our 200-hour yoga teacher training and our advanced TLC Method training. We run them annually, and we go into a lot of detail into the specific practices of the chakras that came from the ancient Tantrik tradition. But today's lecture, I want to focus on this idea of the colors of the chakras. So if you have ever come across an image on Pinterest where there was this sort of rainbow of colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and white, or something to that effect, or if you've ever gone to a class and the yoga teacher has encouraged you to kind of visualize a specific color that's related to a chakra, or breathe in a certain color related to a chakra, or maybe someone said to you, you really need to work on your heart center, you should wear more green or something. What I want to say to you is that none of this is accurate to the tradition. Unfortunately, this idea of a rainbow of colors is never found in any tantric scripture. None of the tantras describe the rainbow of colors. This is an innovation that has been created by Western teachers that really came from basically the Theosophical Society, which was a New Age religious cult, for want of a better term. Nothing wrong with the Theosophical Society. There are some great bookstores around the world that have all sorts of New Age ideas. But through them, and if you want to find out more about how they could have so much influence on chakra culture, head to our very first lecture in this series, which is a short history on the chakras. It's about 15 minutes long. But what you'll find is when you go back through the history of the chakras is that certain people had a big influence. And in the West, it kind of spread back to India. And there has always been this kind of flow in the last few hundred years of information that's going from India to the West back to India. And so you might even find this idea of the rainbow of colors of the chakras when you go and do your teacher training in India. That happened to me. I'm not here to kind of shame anyone. It's that the information that we have all been given is fundamentally incorrect. So I'm only saying this so we can kind of stop spreading it in our trainings, in our classes, and start to be more accurate with the way we look at the chakras. And as I said, if you want to go more in depth, do a training with us, because we go super into depth into the chakras, especially if you are, like me, someone who's learned about the chakras for a long time, and really it's from this Western tradition, this innovative tradition that you've learned from, not from the texts. Because when you go back to the ancient tantras, that is that corpus of texts that was the original place where the chakras came from, there were so many texts, so many manuals, so many practices that have never been shared in the West until really the last decade or so. We're in this renaissance of information, which is absolutely incredible and really exciting. But when you go back to the texts, color was important, but it wasn't utilized as a rainbow. So you'll find a couple of different texts talking about the chakras in terms of perhaps working with just two colors. So when you're working through the chakras, you are visualizing a color, but the color is red, and then it's gold, and then it's red, and then it's gold, and then it's red, and then it's gold. So the colors themselves were very specific to the different traditions, and they were never the rainbow. There was another tradition that I think was working with a kind of like blue color around the heart and a smoky gray black at the throat. Colors are an important part of the classical tantric tradition, and working with colors or experiencing colors in your meditation is very powerful and important, and is something beautiful about working within the tantric yoga tradition. However, I just want to reiterate that the rainbow of colors that you might read about, that you might be wanting to teach in your classes, is fundamentally inaccurate. It's something that's been made up in the last 100 years. So it's really up to you whether you decide you want to use this information, go into it a bit more. It's really hard to find or to access the ancient tantric texts. So you probably will find that it's difficult if you're just doing Google searches to find anything other than the rainbow of colors. But there are a certain group of teachers, one of them, being myself as part of the Light Collective, who are really trying to spread more accurate information on the chakras. So if you're wanting more, then make sure you tune in to our next lecture on the chakras as well. Thank you.